this? Like, what do you do? Just go ahead and start showing it off. Just start blasting it below. Rapid fire, guys. Let's just go ahead and start off with this energy here with a bang. I feel good because I'm starting to get more sleep. So I was kind of dragging the past few weeks. I think my body still thinks I'm in college, so I like to stay up till like 1 in the morning, and it doesn't work out too well when you got to be up at like uh, at least about 9 o'clock. So, um, well, let's jump in, guys. So if you're new to the group, let's first find out if you're in the right place. So this group here is specifically for hypnotists and holistic based, service based providers who want to get into the high ticket world, who want to work with higher quality premium clients, and essentially pack their calendar full of high premium clients. So, Joseph, good to see you here as always every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we do these live trainings, guys. This is an opportunity for you guys to get live coaching. So this is an opportunity for you to put your questions out there as I'm talking here today. Don't just treat me like Netflix, or else you're not going to get, you're not going to get much out of it. So drop questions you have as we go here. And this is a conversation. So Sasha, nice to meet you. I believe are you new? I feel like you might be new, but looks like you're a meditation guide and offer grief and loss support. Very cool. That's a great niche. I don't think there's enough people in that niche. So welcome, Sasha. Good to have you with us. And for those of you guys tuning in as well, just go ahead and drop what you do, just rapid fire. And what are your spiritual, what I call superpowers, right? Like they're kind of superpowers. So I think they are. Anyway, do you guys agree with me? Like, is it just me? Do you guys feel like what you have, your gifts, are like superpowers? Let me know below. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Do you guys feel like they're superpowers? Crystal says life coach, hypnotherapy, Reiki, meditation, channeling, herbalist, spiritual creator. Yeah, you've obviously been in this for a while. Um, and yeah, I think we're following up next week, I believe. But yeah, very cool. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sasha is new. Welcome to the group. Yeah, cool. Let's go. All right, guys. So, as you guys already know, or maybe you don't because you're brand new to the group, one of my favorite things to talk about and teach is high ticket sales, specifically for healers and holistic practitioners, right? Obviously, that's what I built this entire group around, and what I built my entire business around. And guys, can you guys see me and hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes. I'm just getting an alert over here that says my keyframe is too low. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. Can you guys see me and hear me okay? Is there any lag on your side at all? Zadia, are you on? Let me know if you're on, Zadia. And let me know, can you hear me and see me okay? I never know what this keyframe rate stuff means. I don't know. like, um, hopefully not. We're not gonna have any tech issues, but you're good. Okay, so I'm assuming I'm good over here. So let's jump. So there's a tiny lag. All right, all good. Well, hopefully we'll still be able to get through this clearly. Tammy, good to see you. How's it going? So life coach and guides people to create calm from the chaos. And hypnotherapist, certified life coach. Very cool. Awesome, awesome. All right, guys. So as you're dropping in here, let's continue the camaraderie. Just go ahead and drop what you do and what your spiritual superpowers are. And if you're watching the replay, feel free to jump in on the action. And what we're talking about here today is how to sell, right, without actually having to do the selling. Like, how many of you would love to do this in a way that doesn't feel like you have to sell? Like, drop a me in the chat if that's what you're ready for. Because I feel like if you're doing selling, it's not fun. Like, there's a lot of pressure involved. It's like a chore. It almost becomes like a chore. And so if you could learn how to do this in a way that almost feels like, for me, to be honest, my sales and strategy calls almost feel like hypnosis sessions. Like, they almost feel like a hypnosis session. In fact, very cool story here. when I was struggling with high ticket sales, I was reading from a script, and maybe some of you are doing. How many of you here are reading from a script right now? And this is something we're going to talk about in a little bit. Is like I was like reading from this, how long has this been a problem? What have you tried so far? And it really sucked, and I was not making any sales. And when I finally took that freaking script and I just went like this, I was like, are you guys okay if I cuss here? Are you guys okay if I cuss? Let me know. Like, are you guys good with that? Are you guys okay if I drop a few like F-bombs here? Like, I can't tell the story without like saying what I really thought. Are you guys okay with that? I just want to get a thumbs up or a yes before I go any further. Are you guys okay with me dropping a few F-bombs? Be a sailor. Okay. Okay, cool. Look, guys, when I was getting so frustrated trying to sell like $5,000-$10,000 hypnosis programs, and I was really struggling. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck this stupid script. Like, this is not working. I'm not enjoying this. This is stupid. And I just got rid of the script. I just threw it out. Literally, like, if you could think of like the meme, you guys know the meme with the papers. I was just like, fuck it. Like, throw all these stupid papers away. And all of a sudden, I started closing, because I started to treat my sales calls like hypnosis sessions. I started to treat my sales calls as hypnosis sessions because that allowed me to be more present. I was able to see and read and hear much better than when I had this piece of paper in front of me or off to the side. Like, we're just not present. Okay. So what I started to discover was like, if I just trusted my gut, yeah, excuse me, just drinking carbonated water here. So, and if I just was in the flow and in the moment with these people, like, let's just try it. Like, I was just like, let's just fucking try it. Right. And all of a sudden I was like, close. I just started closing like crazy. And that was when I had like my first $20,000 month in my hypnosis practice. Like, I just got boom right into it because I stopped reading from this script. Okay. So, Sarah says I don't do sales. So I'm not here to say scripts are bad. Scripts are great. But what I encourage my clients to do is memorize the script so that when you do it, it feels natural. Like, memorize it so that it just rolls off your tongue. It's not good to not be present in front of your, potential clients. So Crystal says I have made my own scripts, but they're just short, and just a guideline, really. Yeah, like, guidelines are good. Like, obviously we want to make sure that the script works. Like, it's a proven script, like we know it works. But at the same time, we just don't want to read from it. So part of it is like, if you're not closing high ticket now, is it your strategy or is it the person? Right? Is it the strategy you're using? Like, is your script up to par, right? Is it a good script? And then, or is it you? Is it a person? Are you not present? Are you not there with them in the moment, right? Because then you could have the greatest strategy in the world. You could have the greatest script in the world. If you're not present, if we're not there with them in the moment, then none of that matters. Tammy says drinking carbonated water creates a baby dragon burps. That's what I have. I have like the Waterloos. Have you guys had the Waterloos? They're like one of my favorite. They're like super expensive, but like, whatever. Treat your damn self, right? Treat your damn self, right? So let's get into it, guys. So who is this for? Like, who would benefit from this? So I can tell you, like, this is for those hypnotists and holistic practitioners who, like, well, one, they're ready to sell high ticket. Like, that's an obvious one. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody here is ready to get away from it. Is that right? Like, let's do a quick poll here. Are all you guys pretty much ready to stop selling your time, stop selling per session, stop selling 3 sessions here, 2 sessions there, 30 days here? Like you want more commitment from your clients at this point. Like, you're done with the newbie stage. You're ready to move on to like real business, real commitment, right? Like higher level results all around, right? And more income for you. Um, yeah, and guys, drop your questions and stuff. And like, this is a conversation, so drop your questions and chat below. So Crystal says, since joining the group, I now know it's because I was offering discounts and deals and so on. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. When that's appropriate. So it's not like discounts are bad, right? It's just like we have to be strategic in terms of how we use these. Okay. So who is this for? This is for hypnotists and holistic practitioners who are ready to scale past 10K. So whether you're making nothing right now or 5K a month or 2K or 7K or whatever you're doing right now, what I found is switching over to high ticket is not only going to get you past 10K per month, but you're going to skyrocket past that. Like I found a lot of the holistic practitioners and hypnotists that we help, they skyrocket past like 10K, like within 30 days, like they just skyrocket past it because we've almost doubled or tripled their price points, right? So for obvious logistical reasons, they skyrocket past like 10K. So this is for hypnotists and holistic practitioners who are ready to stop like wrestling time and money objections at the end. Like how many of you here, you're running into things like, can I think about it? Can I get back to you? Like, can I process it? Can I talk to my spouse? Or like, how many of you would love to learn how to eliminate all of this so that you don't have to wait till the very end and you're just like out of acts of desperation trying to, keep this person on the call, right? So this is for the hypnotists and holistic practitioners who are wrestling and struggling to getting around these objections. Who are tired, who are ready to stop selling their time or per session and move into selling like packages and programs that they can charge like $5,000 or more. Now, do you have to charge $5,000? No, right? But the strategies and what I teach here at Six Figure Spirit that's the whole point, right? Is to get you away from these little sort of lower ticket items and charge high ticket, right? That's the whole point of this. Who are tired of, how many of you get off these sales calls or strategy calls or discovery calls or whatever you're doing, and you feel like you have to chase them down? Like this was something that I experienced in my first couple of years as a hypnotist. You feel like you get off these sales calls and you have to like chase them down. Is there anyone here, like how many of you are running into that right now? Drop the word chase below. Drop the word chase of like, you feel like you get off these calls and then all of a sudden you have to like chase them down to find out what's going on, like whether they're in or not, are they going to start? Do they like your program? Do they want to work with you? Like all of these questions you don't get answered on the call itself. And so now you got to chase them down through email or texting or phone calls. And it turns into a game of cat and mouse. It just turns into a game of cat and mouse, right? So if you're wanting to get away from that, just drop the word chase below if that's something you're running into. Like I know this very well. This was something that I was running into, and I was just done. I was just like tired of it. Hence, again, Six Figure Spirit was born. So the Tammy says Chase. Israel, good to see you here. Says Chase, yeah. So if you feel like you're playing this game of cat and mouse, it's probably because in a way you're probably coming off maybe salesy or cheesy, or you're not being present enough. I don't know. We'll talk about what changes, what are the keys here to stop being salesy here in a minute. But this is going to apply to you if you feel like you're chasing people. All right. What's going to end up happening is if you're coming off salesy, right, you're going to naturally deflect high ticket clients. You may get low ticket clients. You may attract lower ticket, lower budget clients, but high quality clients run for the hills. if you're coming off salesy or you sneeze wrong, right? Like most of us here are empaths, right? I would say most of us here are probably sensitive or empaths, right? And so our clients are also sensitive or empaths. And if we just sneeze wrong, right, they run for the hills, right? If we're salesy a little bit, the guard goes up, right? And now we got to battle that. Okay. Crystal says, unfortunately, I made that promise to myself a long time ago. I will not chase. It doesn't feel right. Yeah. It doesn't feel good, and it's not a good frame to feed. It's not a good frame and self-image to feed. So it's good. It's good to make that promise to yourself. However, you do want to follow up still. So the question becomes, what is a follow up versus chase? Are any of you questioning this right now? Like, what's a follow up versus a chase? These are different two. They look similar, but they're different. Okay, so you still want to follow up with people. You don't want to chase people down. Okay, these are two different types of actions. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could do one call, you could do two calls, you could do three calls, you could do three calls and still do a follow up without chasing. So it's not about the number of calls. It's going to be more about the frame you're in, right, and your energy. Um, and this is something we could talk about in a different live stream, like how to do follow ups. Like we can do a live stream on follow ups. Would you guys like that to do like how to stop chasing and how to do a follow up? So that's something that we could talk about in the future. Just let me know below. Just drop the word yes below if you want me to do a live stream on that. Like how to create like a flawless follow-up process. A flawless follow-up process. Okay. Christian says, I prefer to sell without making calls. You're going to have a trouble selling anything over $1,000 without a body being present. Whether it's you or someone you hired, if you're going to charge over 1,000, you're gonna have a hard time without being someone present, because people typically aren't going to swipe their credit cards on over $1,000 if they can't get clarity, get questions asked, like things like that. So I would hesitate to not be on calls if you're going to charge over 1,000. Okay. Tammy says yes on the follow-ups. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that maybe in maybe next week. How to follow up in a way that's not, again, sleazy, chasing, that kind of thing. Okay. If you feel like your time is being taken advantage of, how many of you here? This was a big thing for me. You feel like your time on these calls is being taken advantage of right now. This was happening to me. Maybe you're even offering coaching. Maybe you're doing some healing work or coaching on these calls. And all of a sudden, like, they don't close, right? A lot of us are giving away stuff too much for free, like way too much for free. Tammy says, do you offer payment plans for $5,000? Of course. I personally do. I don't see any problem. However, we don't want to use payment plans as a solution for someone's hesitation or anxiety. You see what I mean? So payment plans are great, but you don't want to use that to try and triage like a hesitation about, is it going to work for them, right? We don't want to try and solve people's hesitations and anxieties or fears with payment plan, because that's going to bite you in the ass later. Okay. Sarah says yes. Okay. Yep. So you feel like your time, like maybe you're spending way too much time on calls with people. You're giving away way too much. Maybe you're even doing some healing or some coaching, and then they just vanish, right? Yeah, Tammy, you don't want to try and get them to say yes with a payment. Like at that point, it should just be finances. Like if the only challenge is finances, then that's a perfect solution. But if there's still fears or doubts or anything on their end, if you don't tackle that now, even if you bring them on, you're going to fight it down the road. You're going to fight it down the road. That's the problem with that. Anything you don't take care of before you onboard somebody, you're going to battle down the road. That's the problem. That's the problem. And I'm sure some of you are seeing that now. Like, how many of you have ever brought on a client and you solved the payment issue and then they were just a pain in the ass? Like, I'm raising my hand because I've had that. Is everyone here? I'm sure everyone here has been there. You've brought on someone, you've made the finances work, and they were just a big, like, fucking pain in the ass. Like, it was like, you wish you never brought them on to begin with. Like, has everyone here been there? Yeah, I mean, the calls can be, the calls, the higher your price point, usually the longer the calls, which is normal. Crystal says, I made the mistake of giving too much away, early in the business. Never heard from them again. Yeah, so you kind of have to know where to draw that line and to stop coaching. Because in order to get the rest of the coaching or the healing, they have to transact, right? They have to send money. So it looks like all you guys are agreeing, yeah. Is it worth it to bring on someone who's got all this anxiety? And then it's like you get buyer's remorse. You get, can I get a refund? Can I get my money back? Can I stop? Like, that's the kind of thing we want to prevent. Okay? All right. This is probably showing up in your business as, like, you feel confused when you get off the call. How many of you feel confused when you get off a call? Like, you don't know whether they're going to follow up with you. Did they just lie to you? Was that a smokescreen where they really can't afford it? Like, if you're coming off your calls with all of these questions, then we got to do a better job on the call alone. Okay? So if you're coming off salesy, you're probably experiencing confusion at the end of your strategy calls or your discovery calls or whatever you're doing. Sarah says, so the question is how to attract the high-ticket clients that money didn't. So, yes and no. Like, we definitely want to attract people where the finances are available. We want to make sure the finances are available. Now, there's still maybe hesitation to invest, right? That's a different issue than the money just not there, right? Somebody who's homeless or works at Walmart and I'm not saying this is bad by any means, but if they're like part-time odd jobs type of stuff, Uber Eats, that type of thing, I mean, you got to think, is that person really in a financial, like, will this person have disposable income? You got to ask yourself, is this person who's maybe doing pet sitting or babysitting or Uber Eats or odd little jobs, are they going to have disposable income? Most likely not. It doesn't mean no. It's just something to watch out for. It's just something to watch out for. Okay? So you feel confused when you get off these calls, okay? Or in general, here's what ends up happening is you're just not getting sales. Like, maybe you're just going on call after call after call, you're just not getting sales at the end of the day. So when you're coming off salesy, what ends up happening is just like you repel all the high ticket clients, and then the only ones you're bringing in are just low ticket, low ballers, bartering, people trying to, again, lowball you, waste your time, energy draining clients. They will come. They will take advantage of it. But the high-ticket investors, the high rollers, as I like to call them, if you're coming off sales in any way, stuff they've heard before, right? Like, power closes, right? Like, if you don't sign up today, then the price will go up. That type of stuff will send high-ticket clients running for the hills, and I think you guys know that. You guys, that's an obvious example. Okay? And then what ends up happening is if you're coming off salesy, you end up having to cater to your client, right? You end up like we were talking about earlier, giving discounts, cutting down your program, your time in your program, lowering the bar, making it easier. When how many of you would like to work with people who step up versus you having to step down, right? That's what we want to do. We want to have them step up versus you having to step down. Okay? All right. So what are some examples of this? Let's talk about let's talk about what to do, what not to do, and then what to do instead. Okay. So Crystal says, I've had someone pay for half the cost up front, sign contracts, and all of a sudden never show. Yeah, Crystal, out of curiosity, how much did they put down? Because believe it or not, even a couple thousand is not enough to keep people committed, okay? We're talking about how much do we need to charge so that people not only step in committed, but stay committed, right? Honestly, 2,000, maybe even 3,000, people end up still ghosting, right? So like, Crystal, what was the investment? What did they put in? Chances are it wasn't like 5,000 and above. Usually this price point weeds out the time wasters, tire kickers, so on and so forth. So I have found personally, as a hypnotist, people would still fuck with my time and their time too, by the way, at even a $2,000 price point. It still wasn't high enough because, look, at the end of the day, we don't live in a third world country. People can usually find $2,000 somewhere. Even $3,000, you can find somewhere on a credit card, in savings, like maybe in a checking account. Like that is a drop in the bucket for a lot of people in the United States. Not everybody. And certainly inflation is causing problems, but it doesn't mean that we give into that frame and become victims to that, right? So there are still people who have the income, okay? But if they're not committed enough, yeah, it's just not going to be enough. So that's why we want to try. One thing I encourage my clients to do, and there's a strategy to get as many people paying in full as possible. We want as many people paying in full as possible because that keeps them committed, right? They're all in, they're ready to go. And I'm the same way. I am like pay in full, let's go, I'm all in. That's the type of buyer I am. And I think it's the most rewarding because you're not only in, but you're in it for the long haul, right? So yeah, it's probably because their investment was just not high enough, Crystal. I don't know because I wasn't there. I don't know what the conversation was, so it's hard for me to like tell you. But chances are they're just not committed enough. Sarah says, Lydia, this is an interesting call, but there's a lot of static noise. Is there a lot of static noise, guys? Maybe it's my microphone. Let me see if this is any better here. Is this getting any better, guys? Is this any better? I could just unplug my microphone and see what happens. Is it better or worse? Did I just make it better or worse? It's just static. What about this? Did that fix it? Did that make it better? Worse? Yes? No? I just unplugged my microphone. I don't know if that's... Can you guys still hear me? It's the same. Very strange. Huh. Maybe I need a better mic. Or maybe it's not even on. I don't know. But you guys can make out my words, hopefully. All right. I'll try and work on this. Thanks for letting me know, guys. It sounds like a fan. It might be my laptop. But let's get into it, guys. I don't want to keep you here all day. Let's get into what we need to change here. It sounds like it's missing. The fan is going inside of my Mac. So, hey, any of you guys out there like audio gurus? I have like the any of you guys have this? The Blue Yeti mic? They're supposed to be really good, but anyway. Oh, and guys, before we jump into the what to change here, how to not be salesy, the what to do instead. I dropped a freebie inside of the group yesterday. I dropped a resource, and it's actually one page out of my high ticket healers strategy workbook. Okay, so if you guys didn't get that, Zadia, would you mind dropping your m.me link? And then if you want the page out of the workbook, this page is actually the overview and how to break down a proper high ticket sales and strategy call. So if you didn't see that post and you still want it, Zadia, drop your link and then tap Zadia's link and send her the word sales, and she'll get you that. Yeah, so she just dropped her link, guys. If you want the resource that I dropped earlier, people paid $500 for this workshop, guys. I'm giving you this piece of the workbook for free. So if you missed it, tap her link, message her the word sales. She'll know to get that over to you, okay, if you haven't gotten that yet. So just that, it's going back to the vault this week. I'm going to put it back in my vault this week. So if you still want it, just drop a link, drop her a message with the word sales, and then she'll get that over to you, okay? All right, guys, let's jump in here. Let's talk about how do we start selling in a way that isn't salesy, cheesy, pushy, none of that nonsense, right? So you guys ready to dive in? Drop the word go, guys. Drop the word go if you're ready. You guys ready to talk about this? I think I'm going to add this in here in my notes too while I do that. While you guys do that. That should be good. Cool. You guys ready to go? What do we change here? This is, if everything I talked about for the first few minutes, or I should say the first 30 minutes, resonated for you, this is really going to be applicable to you, okay? So here's the first thing, guys. Number one is never, ever drop your price, never, ever pitch your price or even your program until you have the commitment that they want to go to the next step, okay? So here's an example of this. Like, somebody comes and tells you, like, okay, I'm having trouble sleeping at night. I have a lot of anxiety, blah, 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 blah. And if you're like, hey, no problem. Here's what my program can do, blah, 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 blah. Here's how hypnosis can help you, blah, blah, blah. Instantly, you just become salesy, okay? And here's why. Because we're not yet 100% certain that they want the solution. This is going to sound strange. This is going to sound weird because maybe they called you. Maybe they booked a call on your website. Maybe they read some of your stuff. But until we hear it from their mouth that they want to go to the next step, it's always going to sound prematurely salesy. It's going to sound too salesy. Okay? So always get permission to drop the price or take the next step or book the call or whatever it is that the next step is. You're always going to ask permission. Okay? All right, guys? I hope you guys are writing these down because these are things I only tell my paying clients. Right? This is the only time you guys get this stuff, so I hope you guys are taking notes, okay? So anything that's not that is going to be salesy. It's going to sound prematurely excited to pitch and talk about your stuff, okay? So never, ever drop an offer, whether it's a book a call or get on a call or buy your program or whatever it is, until you 100% certain that they want to go to the next step. Okay? Crystal says, notes taken. Love it. Awesome. All right. Here's another one. Number 2, guys. Ready for this one? A lot of you guys are not going to like me for saying this one, okay? You can, but don't shoot the messenger here. Stop talking about the benefits of hypnosis and what you do. Joseph says a note-taking fee. Yep. Shut up. Nobody cares about how great hypnosis is. Nobody cares about how great Reiki is or your tarot or whatever. People don't give a shit about your modalities. Okay? Again, you're probably already like, what the heck? Like, go away, Lydia, right? But I'm here to tell you, high ticket buyers are not interested in your modalities. Do you guys know what they're really interested in? Let's do a quick question here. Q&A. What do you guys think they're really interested in? Let's get some Jeopardy music going here. I love the emojis, thinking emojis. Gears churning. So no more listing benefits of hypnosis and what you do. Nobody cares. Tammy says an answer to their pain point. Yeah. Getting better, yeah. Yeah. Results. Yeah. Getting better, yeah. Personality, I mean, that's an important part of it. Good to see you, Mary. I think are you new to the group? I don't know. You must be new. Welcome if you're new. Listening. Okay, well, let's just do it. People don't care about your modalities. They want, what's the best word? They want the outcome. They're paying for an outcome. They want the outcome. So when you stop, no more listing, hypnosis and this and that, what's great about it, just eliminate that altogether. And talk to them about how you're going to help them get the outcome. So Tammy said an answer to their pain point. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Results. I mean, yeah, it depends on what you mean by results. Yeah, they're paying for them to get results, right? Not your other clients to get results. Not for your results, but their results, their outcome. How do they know when they get the outcome? Well, I mean, they're not going to, right? Like if you're a hypnotist or you're doing healing work, we got to find out how they measure success, right? NLP, right? Find out how they measure success. And then, at the end of the day, we don't have a crystal ball, right? We can't guarantee you're going to lose weight 5 pounds in 3 weeks. Like, we can't do that. However, there are things that you can guarantee. Maybe that's something we'll talk about on another live stream in the future. How to create your promise or guarantee. Is that something, would you guys want to cover that? How to create a guarantee and promise with healing work, right? Like if you don't promise money or like something tangible, how do you make a promise or a guarantee? That's something that we can talk about in the future if you guys want to. Okay. So for Rosalito, like you have to first find out, well, how are they measuring the outcome? And then a lot of the time it's just like, you can tell them like, yeah, guarantee and promise. Yeah, and the reason why I bring up the guarantee and promise is because a lot of your competitors are now doing guarantees and promises. So if you don't have a guarantee and a promise, your competitors do, and what's going to happen? They're going to go with the person who has got the guarantee and the promise, right? So Crystal says if I tell them that if it works, you work for it. Yeah, that's another great way to handle it. Like, hey, look, at the end of the day, like I know I work, I'm working, the process works. At the end of the day, you're the only variable here. So are you going to do the work, right? That's a great way to handle that. So asking them a question back, challenging them, right? All right. Cool. All right, so stop listening. Stop talking about how great your modalities are. Nobody cares. I know we care. You guys care. I care. We care. Your prospects don't care, okay? So, if they're only looking for a reading anyway, if they're only looking for a hypnosis session, my question is, do they really care about the outcome? Because usually one hypnosis session alone, I mean, they'll feel better, they'll get results, right? But are they going to go A to Z? Are they going to get the whole big picture with one reading or one session? No. Right? So that's a great place to challenge people. All right. Number 3 here. So I kind of already talked about this one a little bit. Stop reading from a script, guys. What I encourage my clients to do is to have a script, have a strategy that's working, and memorize it. Memorize it. So that when you deploy or execute, it sounds natural, it sounds normal, it sounds like it's something that you talk about and do every single day. Okay? It's the only way to really make this natural. If you read from a script, it's going to come out clunky. You're not going to be present. You're not going to be aware of the hesitations. Because here's how you end up salesy, right? When you keep talking and they have anxieties about moving forward and you're not seeing that. How many of you have been there? You've probably been that place. You've probably been on the other side of this. How many of you have ever, maybe you're on a sales call and then you're having anxieties or you're getting in your head and the person keeps going and the person keeps trying to sell you. How many of you have been there before? I've been there. You notice like the person is not present with you. So then counterintuitively you come off salesy because you're not present with your prospect. So the key here is do not read from the script, be present with them in the moment. Okay? And you could have an outline, right? But even then you have to be careful with that. Yeah. Tammy says she hates that. Yeah, like don't you want, if you're going to invest in someone, do you want them to be like, you know, reading and glancing and doing like, you know, you don't feel like they see you, right? You don't feel like they see you, right? And now it sounds salesy. All of a sudden it sounds salesy because they just keep going and going and going, right? Okay? So ditch the script. Start treating your sales calls like sessions. Start treating your sales calls like sessions. And I guarantee you're going to start seeing a difference. Okay? All right, let's get into number 4 here. Okay? And guys, again, drop your questions below as we're going through here. Just to make sure my computer doesn't fall asleep here. And also, guys, if you're just tuning in, I dropped a resource yesterday on one of the pages from my high-ticket sales call workbook that I gave out at Hypno Thoughts Live. If you do want that, Zadia, would you drop your link one more time? And guys, if you do want this high-ticket sales call overview page, which is the breakdown of a high-ticket sales call, tap her link and then drop her the word sales, and then she'll send it over to you. Okay? All right. So number 4 here, guys, this is a big one. This is a big one. All right. One of the ways we come off salesy is trying not to be salesy. Okay. I talk to so many hypnotists and healers who are like, hey, I don't want to be salesy. That's like my biggest fear. But by trying to not be salesy, that's exactly what you're doing. By trying to avoid being salesy, you actually are being salesy. And one of the ways that hypnotists and healers do this is that they're just really nice. They're just really nice. Some of you guys are just being way too nice to try and get a sale. Is this resonating for some of you guys? I'm sure it's hitting home right now. I've fallen into this trap too. You're being nice. So you're afraid to challenge their thinking. You're afraid to challenge their objections. You're more worried about like, are they going to like me? I don't want any tension. I don't want any conflict. I don't want them to hate me, right? And as long as you're just being nice, what happens to nice people, guys? What happens to nice people? Let's do a quick poll. Just drop it below. What happens when you're really nice? Right? To a fault. When you're nice to a fault, I don't mean nice and kind. I mean nice to a fault where you're afraid to show up as your true self. What ends up happening, guys? Yeah, Crystal, finish last. Right? Nice girls don't get the corner office. That's one of my favorite books. Nice girls don't get the corner office. Nice girls. Trying to find the book now, but I think it's on my other bookshelf. But yeah, you finish last. You get taken advantage of. You get no respect. Exactly. So being nice and kind is great. But being overly nice to the point where you're no longer being yourself and you're trying to avoid conflict, you're not challenging them, you're going to struggle to get high ticket sales. Yeah, Crystal said if you're afraid, they will also be afraid. Yeah, because they're going to feel what you're feeling. If you're starting to feel fear, they're going to mirror that, or they're going to wonder what the heck is going on. Where you're like, what? But all of a sudden things just got weird here, right? So if you're not chill being yourself and willing to challenge them in their thinking or their logic, what's going to happen? Yeah, kind and firm, kind and firm. I like kind and firm much better than nice. Nice is very manipulative. It's like nice girls, nice guys, nice girls. Again, yeah, it just has a negative connotation to me anyway. But if you're kind and firm, that's different. That's different. Okay. All right. Now let's get on to number 5 here. You guys ready for this last one here? And then I know we're about hitting the 1 hour mark. But is this been valuable to you guys so far? Are you guys taking away something here? Let me know by dropping the word value below if this has been valuable to you guys so far. I'm gonna get a drink of water here. Okay, Mary says yes. Cool. Barbara says yes. Tammy, cool. Awesome. All right, guys. So I know some of you guys want more strategy. So here, I'm going to give you a strategy here. So if you guys how many of you here are doing like online social media marketing? Maybe you're doing like direct messaging, maybe on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. Any of you guys doing that right now? Valuable. I like it. So if you're in the online world and you're trying to message people, DM people, how can we avoid being salesy in these messages? Okay. So here's one to definitely write down. Okay. Never ever talk about your program. Never ever talk about your program in the DMs. Nope. Never ever talk about your program in the DMs. It's too soon. You guys haven't met for a call. It's way too big of a jump. Do not talk about your offer inside of DMs, inside of texts, inside of emails. Do not answer those questions. Do not get into the weeds. You're going to get stuck in the weeds, and you're going to stay in the weeds. Okay? So it's going to be salesy if you talk about your program, your offer way too soon, which the DMs are going to be way too soon. Okay? All right. Cool. I think that was about 5 here. So we'll do a quick recap here, guys, and then drop your questions below if you guys have any left. So number 1, don't pitch the next step until you know they're ready to go. Always ask permission. Right? Okay. A person has agreed. I never do. It's always let's set up a consult. Yeah. Yep. Tammy says, thank you for saying that. I removed the connection to anyone who does that on me on LinkedIn. Yeah, like put yourself in your prospect shoes. Would you do you want somebody to be super excited to tell you about their program? Like, it's weird, right? Isn't it kind of weird? Happens to me too. I have in my DMs every day some other business coach. Hey Lydia, we have a special proven system on how we can help you generate 10 clients in the next week or whatever. What the heck? You haven't even taken time to get to know me yet. Yeah, put yourself in your prospect shoes, right? Look, the DMing process, it's not the strategy that's wrong. It's just how people do it. This can work really well. In fact, it's what I teach is how to do this in ways not salesy. Okay? And there's a way to do this so that it's not. But there's also a way to do this that it is salesy. So never ever talk about your offer, your program in the DMs. Just way too soon unless you talk to them unless you know it's a good fit. It doesn't make any logical or emotional sense to your prospects on the other side. Okay? So let's do a quick recap here, guys. And if you're new to the group, and you didn't get the mini course on the way in, also, Zadia, drop your link for that. Guys, if you're new to the group and you didn't get the mini course that you requested on the way in, Zadia is going to drop her link one more time and then message her the word course, and then she'll get you the mini course. So if you're new, you didn't get the mini course, that will get you into some of our content. That will share with you how we had like hypnotist Carla, she did an $18,000 a day. How Joshua, hypnotist Joshua, did a $15,000 a month. If you didn't get that mini course, Zadia, drop your link one more time, and then send her the word course, and then she'll get you the logins for that mini course. Okay. All right, guys. So let's do a quick recap here. Never pitch until you're clear they want to move to the next step. Number 2, stop talking about all the benefits of your modalities. That people don't care. People don't care. Number 3, don't read from a script. Be present. Treat it like a session. Treat it like a hypnosis session. Treat it like a healing session. Be present with them. Memorize any scripts that you have. Memorize any scripts that you do have. Okay. Number 4, challenge them on their thinking. Stop being nice. Stop being nice. Challenge them on why they need to process it. Challenge them on why they need to think about it. Challenge them on why they need to talk to their spouse. Challenge them on why not now? Why do you have to wait 3 days or a week or whatever, right? And then finally, do not talk about your offers in the DMs. Do not. Tammy says, is there a login for the course? Yeah, there is a link to create your login. Tammy, I think you're talking to Zadia, if I remember, ask Zadia about that, and she will have the link, the login for the course. It's not a private Facebook page. No, it's a course itself, and just let Zadia know that you're looking for the login page, and then she can send it to you. And Rosalita says sales scripts. What do you mean sales scripts, Rosalita? I'm not sure what your question is. And guys, any other questions here before we drop off here? Has this been valuable for you guys? And those of you guys watching the replay, let me know if this has been valuable for you as well. Scripts to memorize, yeah. If you have your own, that's great. If you need scripts, we have a ton. I mean, like, you know, obviously, if like we were to work together, we have our own scripts. It's definitely something we can explore if you do want. But yeah, I mean, if you have scripts right now that you're using, it's better to memorize it so that you embody it. You embody it versus like doing this thing, right? Like shifty eyes, right? Shifty eyes. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys for being here with me on this Wednesday. Maybe we will chat about, I'll take back a look over the comments and see if what we'll talk about is creating your promise or guarantee or a follow-up process. We'll plan on something for next Wednesday. But as always, guys, bring your questions to these calls, and I can answer them for you. And appreciate you guys for being here on this Wednesday. I know you could be anywhere else in the world right now, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Wednesday. So, guys, go out there and make it a great week. And some of you I'm talking to later this week or next week. We'll look forward to it. Let's get this show on the road. And I will see you guys in the group. Bye-bye now.